this. Perfect. Okay. Welcome, everyone. I am super excited to be here. What is today? It's April 16th. So we're about halfway through April, which is crazy. First quarter is done. So this is kind of the kickoff for Q2 calls. And what a better way to start it than the one, the only superstar diamond, top 10 elite coach times 50, Danielle Natoni. She seriously, anytime I think of Beachbody, I think of Danielle because she is like beach body. She breathes Beachbody. She lives Beachbody. She's one of the coaches that I actually follow every single day, all day, watch all her stories and everything. And I learned so much from her and Darren, and you guys are just so cute. So we are blessed to have you today. So Danielle, before we just kind of start like jumping in with all these questions, why don't you kind of tell us a little bit of your background, like how you got started with Beachbody, and then where you're at today with Beachbody, and kind of give us the roundabout story.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you. That's so sweet that you watch my stories. I'm honored. Secondly, I apologize that I'm in my car. I just finished teaching a cycle class. So I didn't have time to make it. I'm like literally 6 minutes from home, but I was like, I couldn't make it all the way. So we're just sitting at the Circle K parking lot right here. And this is how we're getting it done. So thank you for dealing with me being in my car. Actually, yesterday was my 9-year coach anniversary. So April 15th, 2010 was the day I joined Team Beachbody. The super fast version of my story is I was an elementary school teacher. I was in a very different marriage than the one I'm currently in, extremely unhealthy. And I was in debt bad. I couldn't make it paycheck to paycheck. I was an elementary school teacher, and my now ex-husband didn't really work. It was like, So it was just really me and my teacher's salary and our 9 payday loan debts and our 12 maxed out credit cards. And I actually had never heard of Beachbody. I had never done one of our programs, but I was considering going back to bartending and waiting tables, which I had always done as a side hustle. And I was one of those weird people who loved fitness. I always afforded my gym membership. It was my 1 hour a day where I didn't hate life. Honestly, it felt safe in the gym. I loved being there. I loved the community. And I thought, I wonder if there's a way to make money in fitness. And thankfully, I had no idea that you don't, that teaching classes is pays you in love, not dollars. But I went and got certified in Turbo Kick. And at my Turbo Kick training is where I met the woman who introduced me to Team Beachbody. Her name is Jackie Woodfin. And so I signed up to be a coach. I had never heard of Beachbody. I had no idea what Shakeology was. And actually, a funny story is really I joined up March of 2010. And the same day that I signed up, I quit because I knew I was going to bounce a bunch of outstanding checks. And, my money got given back to me, but I still bounced the checks. And I just knew in that following up month until April 15th, I was like, I really think I'm supposed to do this. So, so April 15th, 2010 was the second and the last time I became a coach, and it has been a beautiful blessing and journey ever since.
I love that. 9 years too. Congrats. That's so fun.
Thanks.
Okay, guys. Well, I'll let you guys begin. Ask questions. Take yourselves off mute, and I'll let you guys start the call. Go ahead.
They have no questions. They're over me. They're like, whatever. We've heard from her a million times. Like, we're like,
I'll ask a question. Hi, Danielle.
Okay. Hi.
I wanted to ask if you have a specific system or way that you decide who earns your time as a newer coach. So getting people started, do you wait till they're posting on social media until they hit Emerald, or what's your strategy?
Yeah, for sure. I've gone through so many different cycles of like how I get people started and who earns calls and etc. And I actually have a really simple system now that eliminates a lot of people from getting calls, but it gets me the right people. So if you join my team, I send you, a welcome email. And in that welcome email is some super simple steps. It's like, join our Facebook group, like, here is the national wake up call. Like super basic things, like nothing major. And then it says, text me, because I want people's phone number. And I want them to know that I'm not just like some big person on social media, like that they get my phone number. And I say, after that, when you're done with that, text me let me know that you've signed up for our Facebook group and that you've gone through these simple steps, and I'll message you back with next steps. And so after they do that and they text me, I send them a link to a super short video that Melissa McAllister and I made that's kind of like a coach kickoff call. And after they watch that, I say, text me when you're done watching that video. When they're done watching that video is when I will offer them the call. But do you know how many people don't make it through that step? And so for me, that was a really simple way of not like putting it on rank, or like, I don't want people to join, especially because I'd say 95% of the people have never met me and they look at me as like, you know, some person on social media. So I don't want them to think like, oh, you have to hit XYZ to get my time. But really, I just want you to show me that you want more than the discount. And so if you can join my Facebook group, text me and watch one video, I'll send you the link to schedule a call with me. But I would say maybe only half of the people actually make it through that step. So it's not like a super fancy system, but it works. And, you know, and that tells me if you don't watch that video, if you can't find, you know, 40 minutes to watch one video right when you get started, then we don't need to have a one-on-one call anyway. So that's kind of how my system works.
That's really helpful. Thank you. I adopted what Ashley talks about at leadership with the texting. And so
yeah,
the next step would be to add that extra video. So
yeah,
try it out. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I have a question for you, Danielle.
Okay.
So you're a total rock star and you're really good at giving tough love, and that's like my biggest weakness. I'm not very good at giving tough love, and I wanted to hear from you, like, how do you get your team to rally with you for, like, say like you have this big goal or something, like when you went superstar and you told me like, okay, we're gonna go to Disney, we're gonna do this whole theme, like I remember that whole story. But how do you get them to rally without them getting intimidated or worried that they're going to let you down? Because I feel like my team, they get on board and then they kind of like get so afraid they're going down that they just don't do anything at all. And then they end up letting me down anyway. So, and it's not just me, but they let themselves down too. So like, kind of how do you find that balance of like pushing them, but not too far that they can't like do the things they need to do?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting that I've become like the queen of tough love, and I never set out to do that. It's just who I am, in that I will love you and I will love you so hard and I will go to the ends of the earth for you, but I also am not going to hold your hand. And so I think I set that intention from the very beginning, which is from the minute you join my team, I am not going to tell you like, you know, for example, if I tell you, like, here's how you can earn Success Club, right? And then the next day you ask me, well, so if I sell Shakeology and Home Direct, is that a Success Club point? I'm going to tell you, here's the FAQ for that. Like, and that's not me being a BITCH. That's like, I do feel like there should be a level of self-sufficiency. And I think somewhere along the way, and I'm sorry if this is you, because we're such a female-dominated business, and a lot of us are not only females, but we're former teachers, or we're moms, or we're wives, we're very, we want everyone to get off the bench. And the reality is that not everybody deserves playing time, right? And so from the very beginning, I set the intention of, I will celebrate the frick out of you. I will love you so hard. You will feel so stinking loved. But I also am not going to wipe your butt for you, right? And so I think by the time we get to the place of, hey, we're pushing for Superstar 2, we're pushing for Superstar 3, we're pushing for Elite, whatever the goals are, they know that it's on them. Like, if you, like, I have some really bomb leaders, Ashley, Tanya, like Lori Stewart, like all these people. And I didn't do that. They're amazing leaders simply because I ran really, really fast. And I said, like, I will celebrate you. I will answer your questions, but I'm not going to do the work for you. Yeah, the pace car. And so I also think you've got to get a little bit out of your head of like, well, you know, what if they let me down? Yeah, there are people who are going to let you down. So go find new people then. Like, we went Superstar 2 last year, 2018. 2017, that was my goal. but they weren't the right people. I had 2 diamonds from that business center up and quit and go to that stupid keto company or whatever. And I'm like, okay, fine, peace out. You know, like, so there were people who let me down. I'm not so much worried about letting them down. It's paralyzing them. Then they're not your right people. Like, I'm sorry, like, no offense, but if like a goal paralyzes you, you're not my person. Like, if a goal paralyzes you, you're not who I need to work with, and I need to bring in new people. And that's where I found myself in 2017. I had technically the people in place that could have gotten us to Superstar 2, but they weren't the right people. And so 2 people quit, and then a couple people dropped off, and they weren't my people. But in 2018, it was like almost seamless. It was like, okay, these are the right people. They wanted the goal more than I did. They were the ones like checking in with each other. Okay, are you good? Are you solid by Sunday? Like, they were the ones doing all the things. And so what I would say is, if you have people who are paralyzed by goals, they're not your freaking people. And I wish that every person wanted to be a diamond. And I wish that every person was the person that was going to get us to our goals, but they're not. And I have become okay with knowing that there are some people who are lifetime emeralds. There are some people who are forever in and out diamonds, and they are here for the community, and they're part of our ecosystem, and our tribe wouldn't be the same without them, but they are not my people who are going to get me to my next goal. And that's kind of where we are in Business Center 3 right now. Like, I want Superstar 3. I don't really see it currently with the peeps I have. So I just have to keep inviting, because I advance a diamond, someone falls. I advance it. So it's like, I feel like we're not growing that business, but instead of focusing my energy on like, we're pushing and this is our goal, and then it does paralyze those people even further, I'm like, okay, you're just not my people. I've got to get the right crew of people in to push for that goal. And even with the themes, yes, I love themes and I do themes, but if people aren't on board with that, like, and they don't find that fun, then they're not going to push for it anyway. And I don't want somebody who, like, if I say to you, okay, you have to sign 12 people in order for us to go on this big trip, and you're paralyzed by that, like, no offense, like, you're not a business builder anyway, right? Like, the people who are paralyzed by goals are not your pushers. Like, the people who are so paralyzed by fear, I don't think there's a lot you can do for them until their mindset shifts to a place where they really want it. So what I would say is, girl, just keep recruiting, keep bringing in new people, because you'll find that one rock star who comes in, who's a Heather Shipley, and goes, all right, I'm going to go 7-star elite in less than a year. Like, you're going to find those people. But I think so much we focus on the people we already have in our pot, and because we're women, we want to nurture and support. And it's okay to be like, I'm going on this journey. You're either with me or you're not. And if you're not, I still love you, but I got to find the people who want to do this with me. So just go out there and recruit new people who want to be part of that journey with you.
I have a question that maybe will parallel that or piggyback off it, Danielle.
Yeah.
So you've got the girls, the moms, the, corporate moms that want to hustle this business, and they do full pedal to the metal, gung ho. And then it's like screeching halt, burnt out. And then you see that cycle happen again with the same person, and they have it in them. And you've worked on time management and setting realistic goals and the pockets, blah, 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 vitals here and there. How do you keep them from doing that, like, same practice over and over, like the full on and screeching halt, because it just like burns me out in wanting to work with them, but they have the
I don't. See, and this is probably where I am different than most coaches. Like, I'm not going to try to get you. Like, if that's your gig and you're going to like go balls to the wall and then you get burnt out over what? Like, let's be honest, you guys. Like, this business, yes, okay, it requires hard work, but we're on our phones. Like, we're doing video calls. Like, burnt out over, you know what I mean? Like, to me, it's like, I can't even understand you getting burnt out. Like, because why? You had to take a workout selfie? You know what I mean? Like, oh, you had to go live on Instagram. So I don't. Like, if those kind of people, and Taryn, this is probably not what you want to hear, but I don't. Like, if you choose to get burnt out and not build this business, bye, Felicia. Like, I hate to use like an old like saying, but it's like, I will still be here for you. And I have coaches like that who, I have this one girl, I actually referenced her in my leadership thing, and she does it constantly. I'm all in. She's all in for like 2 months, and then she goes non-existent. And then sure enough, it comes to a point in her life again where she's like, nope, I'm all in. And so in those moments, I'll support her and I'll hear it and I'll listen, but I am not going to go out of my way to make sure that she reaches her goals. And I've said this time and time again, but I mean it. We are independent Team Beachbody coaches. I did not sign up to be somebody's boss. So I want to work with CEOs, somebody who says, I will figure out how, I will figure it out. Whereas the employees like tell me what to do, how to do, where to do it, when to do it, why to do it, all the things. And the people who get burnt out like that, I feel like they want you to come and pick them up off the ground and tell them how to do it, where to do it, when to do it, why to do it. When, I think Corey said it yesterday, it's all figure outable, or however she said that, right? It's like, I want to work with the people who want to figure shit out on their own. Who want to figure stuff out on their own. And then like, I'm there to support them and be right by their side along the way. But I am not in the business. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a counselor. I'm a businesswoman who wants to help people along the way. I think it was Christina Delgado who once said on a call, there's two ways you can look at the sentences. I will help you build your business, period. Or you can rewrite the sentence of, I will help, period, capital U, build your business. And when it comes to those people who are constantly going all in and then backing out, all in, backing out, they want you to build their business. They want you to do it for them. And that's not the game I'm playing. And so when they're really ready, then I will be there for them, but until then, I don't entertain it. And I would love to think, I think I saw Steph Carlstead on the call and she's on my team. And I would love to think that she knows that I am there for her 1000% of the way. But I think they also know that in order to get that, like, I expect you to do the work on your own, if that makes sense. So, and I established that from the very beginning. I want people who are self-starters, self-sufficient. And I have along the way had to really learn, because I play the comparison game, right? I see all like the, lovey-dovey women, or I'll get on the call and, I do this, and this, and I make them fill out this graphic and send it to me, and they've got to send me this and they've got to send me that. And it's like, I didn't sign up to be your mom. Like I'm here to like be your coach and to guide you. So I also had to learn to tune out some of that and be okay with being okay with running my business the way I want to run it. Because they know I love my girls, but love doesn't mean smothering. And I feel like somewhere along the way, we've gotten into this place of overtraining and we smother our coaches so much so that they are paralyzed and they do get burnt out. Because how many GD groups can you be in? It's like, I think sometimes the people who get burnt out are working moms who are trying to figure out this business, and we put them in 97 groups. We tell them to fill out 14 different trackers. We tell them to submit it to us, and it's like they didn't sign up for that. And so anyway, the moral of the story is I don't do any of that. And it seems to be working out okay for me and my team. So I give you permission to, when those people are burnt out, let them figure it out, and let your people know you will always be there for them. You're always there for them. You will pick them up when they fall. You will celebrate them when they succeed, but you're not their mom, and you are not going to do this business for them. I feel like I should sing intermittently, like the long pauses of silence in between make me feel like I should dance or like start rapping. I'm sweating profusely because I'm sitting in my car without the air conditioning on. I mean, like, I'm a really good rapper. I could do that. Any other questions?
I would love to hear you rap, Danielle, but I have a question.
Okay, perfect.
I am pushing really hard. So most of my coaches, they join as coaches and challengers at the same time, because that's how I joined. All of my successful coaches, that's how they started. But I'm working really hard on focusing on converting challengers to coaches, because that's where I'm like lacking. It's like I have like diehard lifer challengers and they just like aren't converting. And so I don't know if you have any tips for converting challengers to coaches, or basically any tips for that.
So, I mean, and I don't know if Sydney wants to hear this, but to me, if you're a diehard challenger, you're a diehard challenger. Like, you were a lifer. You were doing every single program, and you were drinking your shake every day, and you were drinking Energize every day, and you were just like on the Beachbody Kool-Aid train. I don't understand why you wouldn't be a coach. Even if you never sold one stinking thing, I can't understand who says, please let me pay 25% more than everybody else. And so honestly, that's like the number one approach I take it with. And I just reiterate that they never have to sell anything ever if they don't want to. And I use the example of literally the first coach ever I signed in my first business center. She is a girl I went to high school with. She has never gone inactive, not once, but she's also never sold a thing in 9 years because she drinks Shakeology every single day. So it's like, if you add up, you know, that $30 or, you know, whatever, the $20 savings once you take out the business service fee times 12 months in a year times 9 years, and you look at how much she saved over time. So, I mean, that's one place I would start. If you're thinking of like, you want to convert challengers to actually like coaches who work and the whole like empowerment thing and all of that, that's a whole different ball of wax. But if it's literally just you want to at least get your challengers to be coaches, I feel like you have to take it from the financial perspective, because I don't know about you, but like, even still, I have like memberships to other places because it's like, or it's like if you go to buy something and they give you the option to pay monthly or to pay the full year up front, and you know you're going to save XYZ dollars, I'm always going to want to spend less. So for me, that's the number one way is I talk about, and I tell them, you literally never have to sell anything ever if you don't want to. And I think for most challengers, that's their fear. They think that they're going to sign up to be a coach to at least get the discount, and then you're going to tell them, you're going to put them in a group, you're going to tell them they have to sell. And so I always tell them, like, if you ever want to do any of those things, I'm totally here and I'll show you how. But I always take it from the financial perspective of like, I don't understand. You've been drinking this for like 6 months. Like, you could have saved this much money. And I'm just really, really honest with them. So, and I'm sure you're probably already doing that, you know, but the reality is that's where I take it from. I always take it from the financial perspective of like, do you want to keep spending $130 on it, or would you like to spend $97? And you don't have to sell anything if you don't want to, but if you do ever want to, the option is always there. But I think we don't do a good enough job of assuring them that we're not tricking them into anything, like that this isn't a trick. It's like, you can either pay less or you can pay more. It's up to you.
Right. I love that. And I do feel like I do a pretty good job at like getting them as like discount coaches, but like really getting them to like not only focus on themselves, but help other people along the way and like get their products paid for, or like get, you know, that kind of way, like get them to actually work the business, even if it's just to get their products paid for. Do you have any like just fast tips for that?
Yeah, I don't rush that process, because I feel like if you rush that process, that's where they feel like you just wanted them to become a coach because you wanted something out of it. So for me, my deal is like, I always use Lori Stewart as an example. So she wanted just the discount at first. And my deal was like, I need to get her slam in results that she felt good enough about posting a before and after on social, simply to post it. So when she completed her first round of Insanity, I was like, girl, you need to post that before and after on social media. Trust me, people are going to be like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? And they were. And then after she did that, that's when I was like, do you see how cool that is? Like, you could really like, and so for me, I have to get them results first. Once I get them results, visible results that they can post on their social media, and people can then outpour and they can see that there's not going to be negativity, that people are going to be really proud of them, that people are going to want to see what they're doing. That's when I find they're ready to potentially work, or to share this with their sister, or to share this with the people they work with. But when we rushed the relationship and the person came in for the discount, we told them, okay, you don't have to sell anything if you don't want to. Oh, but by the way, if you tell 3 people your shakes are covered, it's like, well, girl, you told me I didn't have to sell anything. But if I can get you to come in and I can get you to, you know, do the full 80 days of 80-day obsession, and you get banging results. And now I'm like, do me a favor, post this on social media so you can see like the outpouring of love and attention you get when they post that. And then I can go on and go, look at this comment, that person, I bet you they'd love to do this with you. Then I can give them tangible results of like, look, that person right there, that comment, that's someone you could reach out to who would probably want to buy this program from you, right? You see what this girl said right here? It looks like she's interested. Like, wow, I see just from this post alone, you probably have 5 people who would join a challenge group from you. Do you realize your shakes would be covered if we reached out to these people? So I feel like when you're truly trying to convert, discount coaches to actually working coaches, don't rush the relationship. Get them banging results first. Have them put up a post. Take the comments of that post and show them who of those comments would be a potential person to reach out to for a future sale.
I love that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I have a question, like following up with that is just how do you feel like has been the best way for you to help build those solid relationships, not just with challengers, but with your coaches so that they do become lifers, even if they're never, they never take the next step or they never do dive into their business, they're not quitting. You have a big team of people that stick around and really have like that family culture. And I was just wondering how you feel like the best way, especially with bringing on so many people and continuing to nurture those relationships without wasting your time and energy.
It's interesting. I would have told you previously that like I'm not good at that because like I don't have an annual retreat. I will never be the girl who wants to rent a beach house and have a slumber party with you. Like I'm actually extremely introverted when it comes to my personal time. Like my elite retreat that we just did in Miami, the only reason I was able to rent a house and stay with those people is because we're all so close at the elite level. But when I really think about it, if I really think about why my team has such a core foundation is because I feel like we have a great brand. They feel like they're a part of something. So being part of Team Fit and Funky means something to people. That logo, those colors, right? And so one of the ways I think, especially now as my team is bigger and as I bring on new people, the first thing people want is they want something with the logo on it. They want something with our colors. They want to rock and represent like that logo proud. They want to wear that to a super event and show like, look, see, like maybe they've never met me. Maybe we've never even had a one-on-one call, but they're wearing our logo. It's why people feel such an affinity to Nike or to Lulu, right? Like when you wear that logo, you feel like you're a part of something bigger, you're a part of something special. And so while I may not get to have, people may not be like that one-on-one, like face-to-face time, what I would say is that the new people who come in, the minute I can send them something with my logo on it and I can get them feeling like they are a part, like they want to rock those colors, they want to use our hashtag, they feel like they're part of the community. So I know we all have team names, but the sooner you can like really stick to it, like if you see pink and blue, you probably think of me. Or if you see 2 backwards F's, like I get messages from people like somebody stole your logo if there's like a something with like 2 F's or something. So I think that creates a sense of community. And obviously you still have to build relationships, so I do my best to try to really remember when somebody has something special, or if they tag me in something, tag them back, or say, like, I try to do all the things that you're probably doing. But I do think that the more we can create a brand around our team, that the bigger we grow. That's why I feel like even, many layers down, they still feel connected to Team Fit and Funky. And I'll use me as an example. When I first started being platinum, being part of Platinum Presenters was a big deal, right? Like everybody knew, like you knew if you saw a girl in short shorts and high heels and her hand on her hip, you're like, okay, she's part of Team Platinum Presenters. Like that was like a thing. And so I knew early on that I wanted to create like that brand awareness, and that if I did that, that would make people feel included, even if I couldn't give them my time and attention, because that logo would mean something to them.
I love that. Thank you. And then I have one more question if you have time.
Of course.
I was just wondering, as far as challengers go, I feel like I have a good system now for my coaches coming in, onboarding them, and I feel like that is solid and I feel confident in it. And then I do feel like after I switched over to really having people come on in my boot camps pretty much every week, like people starting every Monday, because I don't want people to wait a whole month or something to start. It's been a little bit harder to make sure, like, not everyone's on the same pace. Whereas before, converting challengers and checking in and all these things, it was like, okay, they're all starting this date, so we're all doing it together. And then I'm checking in now, and now it's like, okay, they're 2 weeks in, let's talk about the discount, all this. But I feel like now I'm just kind of running around with like a chicken with my head cut off, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't think I checked in with that person for like 2 weeks, or they fell off the wagon, now it's too late, things like that.
So one of the things I think that we all, myself included, don't do a good job of is, or a good enough job of, is treating our challengers the same way we treat our coaches. So no differently than you offer a one-on-one call with your new coaches, why not offer a one-on-one call with your new challengers? No differently than we have weekly or bi-weekly, or how often you do it, team calls with your coaches. Why aren't we having team calls with our challengers? And those team calls shouldn't just be Q&As. Why not bring them information and guest speakers? Why not bring up a topic like why sleep is so important, or why the ultimate portion fix, or we forget that our challengers are our future coaches, right? Why aren't we reading personal development books with them? We know it's not the fact that they love Oreos so much that they're overweight. It's because there's some deeper seated problem with that personal development. Actually, I would argue that our challengers need PD more than our coaches do. So what I would say to you is don't think of like what you're doing wrong per se with your challengers, or like, oh my gosh, I have new people starting every week. Think about, okay, what systems are working with my coaches, and how can I skill transfer that over to my challengers? So I started implementing like every other Sunday night, so twice a week or twice a month, we have a challenger or boot camp, whatever you want to call it, call. And we don't just do Q&A, because then it gets like old. We bring up like specific topics, and you can get guest speakers no differently than you would, for a coach call. You can get in a challenger to come on and speak, or maybe they're one of your coaches and share their weight loss journey, right? Like, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to customize it so that the things that are working for your coaches will skill transfer over to your challengers. And, let your new challenger earn the opportunity to do a challenger kickoff call. You do a coach kickoff call and you tell them what's expected, right? So maybe once a week, or maybe it's a recorded video that you make in advance and you send it to every new challenger, and it tells them how to log into Beachbody On Demand, how to use the My Challenge Tracker app, what the containers are, or whatever it is that you want to put together. And no differently than you might do an Emerald and 24-hour call, maybe it's something like what to do after you finish your first program, right? So it's like, when somebody finishes their first program, they're supposed to message you, and then they get this next video, which is like, where do you go from here? How do you figure out what's next for you? So don't think about like, you don't have to reinvent. You just have to customize what's working for your coaches and those systems, and just skill transfer it over to your challengers.
Thank you. That's like super helpful.
You're welcome.
This is so great, guys. Any last questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
How have you been building your business off social media? I think I saw you mention something like that. And then how has teaching, I don't know what all you teach, but how has teaching fitness classes helped with your business, or has it not, and it's more of a personal thing?
Yeah, so teaching fitness for me is something I will never not do. I love it. And so it can help your business in that you're meeting new people, and it gives you something real to invite people to. So yes, I am going to be doing a call on the Champions page about beyond social media. And what's interesting is while like I said, 95% of my business is built on social, I am still getting back out into the community. I found myself in a space of where I wasn't, like I was like just doing social, and you forget the power of when you're the crazy Beachbody lady in your community, that spreads, and that gets you those people and those people's social, and so on and so forth. So teaching class for me, if you love fitness, don't teach class because you want it to build your business. If you love fitness and you love teaching, then you should become an instructor. It is, no matter how much money I make, no matter how busy I am, I will never give that up because it fills my soul. However, if you trust me enough to let me lead you through an hour workout, you're going to follow me on social media. Every class I teach, every single one of those people follows me on social. And then they're asking me about the Energize I'm drinking, that yellow drink, before I teach class. And they're seeing me post about Shakeology and my business. Some of my top business people have come from my group fitness classes. And so I teach Beachbody Live formats. Obviously, I create all the Insanity workouts, but I also teach cycle and I teach yoga. And here's the thing. People who take yoga need Beachbody. They need strength training, right? Like they need, hydrate was huge. When I started taking yoga, not even just teaching it, I'd bring my hydrate because I took infrared yoga and you are just dripping in sweat. You need electrolyte replacement. And so I didn't start taking yoga for it to build my business, but it did because those people would ask me like, oh, what are you drinking? Or I would start talking to the person on the mat next to me. It also gets you out of your freaking house. Where I found myself was in my house all the time and never leaving. And like, sure, you can build on social, but it also just feels really good to meet a real life human. It feels really good to meet a real life human and tell them about your business. And when you're really good at telling real life humans about your business, you're better closing on social media. And so, I just finished teaching cycle, and we don't have a cycle program, but we do, people who take cycle need strength. People who take cycle could use recover. People who take cycle might want beach bars after their class, right? So yes, teaching fitness classes can build your business, especially if you teach somewhere non-traditional. I teach at, big box gyms because that's what I like. But, when I would hold certifications for Beachbody Live formats, I would tell them, if you're going to start like your own like neighborhood boot camp, like for Insanity, you could charge people for class and give them a free packet of Shakeology along with it. And you could, use it to garner your business, kind of like we used to with fit clubs. But the other super fast thing that you can do, and I'm going to talk about this on the champions page, but okay, like for example, if you're a mom, Teacher Appreciation Day is coming in May. Well, why are you just buying them a Target gift card? Why are you not getting a Shakeology shaker cup, putting in a packet of Shakeology, 2 packets of Energize, a beach bar, and then the Target gift card, right? Like, we forget that we should be putting our products in front of people at every possible moment. If you're working with a realtor who just, sold you a home, why is your thank you gift not also like that, all those same things with a thank you card? Thank you so much. If, as you're out and about, like in your real estate travels, if you know anybody who needs help in fitness, I'd love for you to recommend me. Like, we forget to seek referrals. We forget to put our products in front of people, and we are in front of real live humans every single day. But I will talk more extensively about that in the champions page. But as far as teaching fitness is concerned, little plug, today, tomorrow, and through the 18th, Insanity Live certifications are 50% off. And so if you've ever considered teaching a group format, Insanity Live is the easiest to start with. It's the easiest to start with. It's not done rhythmically. You don't have to move to the beat of the music. You coach half the time as well as move. And so if you've never taught group fitness and you're considering it, Insanity Live is the perfect place to start, and it's 50% off now through the 18th. Beachbodylive.com.
Oh, this is so good. Okay, any last questions, guys? We have about time for one more.
I really wanted to ask another one.
Go ahead.
I already asked one. So, all right.
Okay.
I wanted to ask your mentality around teaching your coaches how to invite. There's so many different ways to do it, but let's say you have someone who's truly building and they're like, all right, Danielle, here's my next goal. Are you just like, okay, go talk to a bajillion people, just kind of get in their inbox? Or do you teach more building the relationship? I'm kind of curious what your take is.
I have never, not once, not ever, just sent a cold message to somebody. Not once. And if you do that, good for you. I'm so excited because there's many ways to build this business. But ew, gross, no. And so me and my husband have this thing. It's called #Don'tBeGross. And so for me, I feel like cold messages are gross. And then I would be going against my own hashtag. But I got one actually today from some girl who sells, I don't know, I can't even remember what it was. I should pull it up and I'll screenshot it and send it to Sydney and she could send you. And it was just like, she had no idea. She didn't even look up to see that like I'm Beachbody or anything. Like she just like full on sent me a cold message. So I don't do that. And I'm sure that there are some people who send messages that maybe sound a little bit nicer, or I know some people do it when you get a new follower, but that's also like, I'll give you an example. So Josh Coates came to our Super Sunday and, he like, I don't know, I tagged him in something. And so I knew the message I got was for sure a cold canned, like he just sent it to everybody who was at the event. So I ignored it. And he actually messaged me yesterday and apologized. He's like, so sorry, my assistant goes through like when I'm in an event. I'm like, it's all good. I'm like, I figured that's what it was. But for me, I don't do that. So yes, I am more of the relationship builder. I want you to start a conversation with somebody about whatever and not Beachbody related. And I want you to build the relationship, and I want you to talk to a butt ton of people. And then when I always use the example of, if I ran into you at the grocery store, right? And I'm like, oh girl, those glasses are so cute. Want to come over to my house tonight for dinner? You'd be like, ew, gross. No, that's so weird. Like, no, I don't want to come to your house for dinner. Like, I just met you and you complimented me on my glasses. But if I complimented you on your glasses and we got talking and you're like, oh yeah, I got them here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, so cool. And we're like vibing. I'm like, hey, I'm like, are you on Instagram? And you're like, yeah. I'm like, cool, let's follow each other. Like, let's stay connected, right? And now we're like social media besties and I'm like following you all the time. Then I might message you and say, hey girl, I'm having this dinner party at my house. I know we just met a couple weeks ago, but I feel like we really vibe. Like, would you be interested in coming over? You'd entertain it because you'd be like, okay. So for me, I am more about let's build a relationship, and when it feels right, then you can invite them to something. So that means, in my opinion, though, that you have to start more conversations than the person sending the cold invite, right? The person that's sending the cold invite could send 20 invites a day and be done. The person who's starting relationships has to do double that at least, because it's going to take longer to get to the part where you'd feel cool inviting them over to dinner. But when in doubt, hashtag don't be gross.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So good. I seriously have 2 pages of notes. So thank you so much, Danielle. We appreciate you even talking to us from your car. We know you're so busy. Go get in that air conditioning. We'll let you go. Thanks everyone else. I'll see you guys next week and I'll talk to you guys soon. Perfect. Thank you. Bye-bye.